So I made a discovery recently that has changed my running life completely. Hi, I'm Ralph and welcome to the Ageless Runner. Before I talk about recovery drinks, would you please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that subscribe icon down in the corner of this video. Thank you so much. So as I said in my intro, I've discovered the miracle of recovery drinks that has completely changed my recovery after a long run or a hard run. And I want to share with you what I've learned and two drinks that I'm trying right now that you might be interested in. So after a hard run or a long run, we need four things. We need to rehydrate, so we need water. We need carbohydrates to replace that muscle glycogen that we burn off as energy while we were running. If we don't replace that, then we're going to feel sluggish for a while. We also need protein to repair the muscles from a run. When you work your muscles hard, whether you're running, lifting weights, or working hard outside, you get these little muscle tears. You need to repair those. The fourth thing we need are electrolytes. You probably were sweaty during your run, right? So you're probably low in sodium, low in maybe potassium, magnesium, and you need to replace those. Now you can certainly get all those things from food, but I have made a discovery about recovery drinks. There have been studies that show that a carbohydrate to protein ratio of 3:1 to 4:1 really helps with your recovery. So what that means is if you have 10 grams of protein, you should have 30 to 40 grams of carbohydrates. I never knew that. So for me, typically after a run, I'd have maybe a protein drink, maybe have a piece of toast or some crackers. Never really gave much thought to how much carbohydrates I should have. But as I said, I discovered this miracle, this magic of a 3:1 or 4:1 ratio, and that led me down the path of looking at recovery drinks. And there are several out there. Today I'm going to talk about Tailwind Rebuild and Endurox R4. Both are carbohydrate protein drinks. Now I chose Tailwind Rebuild as one to try because I'm a real fan of the Tailwind Endurance, which is a carbohydrate electrolyte product that you mix in with water, and for example in your water bladder or your water bottle to drink while you're running. And I also looked at Endurox R4 because it's been around a long time, at least 20 years. It's been studied. They talk about peer review studies. I'll talk about later. They call themselves, their tagline is they are the gold standard of muscle recovery, and they're very well reviewed by users, so I thought I would give it a try. So today I'm going to talk about both products and kind of how they're similar and how they're different and how they might help your running life. So let me say right up front, both these products work as far as how you're going to feel. I remember the first time I used one, I think the first one I got in was Tailwind. I mixed it up after a long run. I think it was about an 8-mile run. I remember saying to my wife after about a half an hour after drinking this, I remember saying, wow, I feel remarkably good. I couldn't get over how well I felt after only half an hour. I felt refreshed. I could feel my body feeling stronger. And the next day, I didn't feel quite as tired and sluggish. A lot of times, I will schedule my long runs knowing I don't have anything important to do the next day because I know I'm going to feel tired. I would say that tiredness on the next day after using either of these recovery drinks is wonderful. I just don't feel that real tiredness that I felt without those recovery drinks. So let's jump into it. So both recovery drinks use a 4:1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. So depending on the serving size of the product, you'll get anywhere from 10 to 13 grams of protein, and you get roughly 4 times that in carbohydrates. So they're both very similar in that respect. Now both products use dextrose as their carbohydrate source. That's a simple sugar because the simple sugar our bodies absorb it pretty quickly, pretty readily. Now Tailwind says their dextrose is non-GMO. In fact, they say their whole product is non-GMO. So if that's important to you, you may want to consider Tailwind. Now, protein sources are different. Endurox R4 uses whey protein, which of course comes from cows as a byproduct of making cheese, so it has all the essential amino acids in it. Tailwind uses vegetable protein. They use rice and pea powder, so they have to add those amino acids to get the essential amino acids to help in the synthesizing and processing that protein in our body. But they both work. Now, both products have electrolytes. I'm showing you a little graphic here showing you both have calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. But you can see the amounts are different. I highlighted a couple of what I feel are the bigger differences in potassium and magnesium. And I don't know if those differences are important. They're not important to me. Maybe they're important to you. I don't think those differences are why you would choose one product over the other. What I think is important is to have electrolytes, and it helps you replenish those that you may have used up during your run. However, as I said, if maybe you're really low in potassium and potassium is important to you, maybe you might prefer one over the other. So up to this point, they both have carbohydrates in a 4-to-1 ratio to protein. They have different sources of protein, but they have the essential amino acids to synthesize that protein. Both have electrolytes. Now, the last thing that Endurox has that Tailwind does not have are antioxidants. They have a generous amount of vitamin C and vitamin E, as I'm showing you on the screen here. So why do they do that? Well, they say they do that to help with neutralizing free radicals. I don't know if you know what a free radical is. Those are typically atoms that are missing an electron. And when they get into your body, they want to scavenge that electron from other tissue in your body, from other organs. And scientists say that free radicals impact the aging process. They can cause disease. And when you run, you are taking in copious amounts of oxygen. And so you can create these free radicals of oxygen. And antioxidants help neutralize those, so they're doing less damage to your body. So I think the antioxidants, Endurox, are a long-term benefit. In other words, they help you neutralize those free radicals. And I do know that as we get older, it's harder for our body to neutralize those free radicals. So I see that antioxidant as a benefit for me as an older runner. I don't think those impact the short-term benefit. In other words, that refreshed feeling I felt, that less tired feeling I felt the next day, I don't know if that's impacted a lot by those antioxidants. I think that comes from the carbohydrate-protein ratio and the electrolytes that are in there. But I do see it as a long-term benefit. So Tailwind does advertise and claim that a product is gluten-free, soy-free, dairy-free, and vegan. So if those things are critical to you or important to you, again, you might want to choose Tailwind. Now, Endurox makes a lot of statements about peer-reviewed studies. In fact, they list and link to 10 different studies on their website. Now, they do say that some of these studies were funded by them. Whenever a study is funded by a manufacturer, you kind of expect the results to be in their favor. When I looked at those studies, they kind of fell into two broad categories. Some studies compared a carbohydrate protein drink like Endurox to a carbohydrate-only drink like Gatorade. And it says in the study, well, we use Endurox R4 and we use Gatorade. And of course, those studies show the benefits of using carbohydrate protein drink. Now, the other studies were mostly talking and showing carbohydrate protein drink as it improves muscle recovery, fatigue, and those kinds of things. And all those are favorable. So in my mind, what those studies show is there's a big benefit in that 4-to-1 carbohydrate to protein ratio. And no matter which product you use, it's going to benefit you. Now let's talk about a couple of two non-scientific qualities, and that's taste and price. So neither of these products are a great taste, neither are they a bad taste. They're just kind of a mediocre taste. If you've done other protein powders and water, you maybe know what I'm talking about. But I do say I think I prefer the Endurox taste a little better than the Tailwind. Now I'm talking about chocolate. I've been using the chocolate flavor. I do have one sample packet of the Tailwind vanilla left I'm going to use, but I've got my Endurox is actually a chocolate. I'm kind of a chocolate groupie. I like chocolate, but I think the next time I order an Endurox, I'm going to try one of the fruit flavors. They do come in, I think, orange, lemon lime, and fruit punch. I'm going to try the orange. Now, the Tailwind comes in chocolate and vanilla. They also have a coffee version which has caffeine in it. If you like the caffeine in your recovery, you can try that. I didn't care much for the coffee flavor, but that's me. Now, there is a difference in price. The Tailwind is more expensive per serving. It's roughly 50 cents more per serving. Again, I'm using it once a week from a long run, but I might start working into some of my short runs. So 50 cents a week or 50 cents a serving might make a difference for you. You have to decide that. So where does this leave us? So I think both products work. Both products give me that refreshed feeling. They help with my recovery that day of the run and the next day. So you can't go wrong with either one. Right now, I'm focusing more on the Endurox for a couple of reasons. One is it tastes a little better. It's a little cheaper. And it's got those antioxidants in it. I think I want the antioxidants right now. I think that's going to help me as an older runner with recovery, long-term recovery, long-term benefits, and eliminating those free radicals. So I'm focusing on the Endurox, but I would recommend either one. But I can't speak enough for these recovery drinks. I'm just totally amazed at how much better it made me feel, both right after the run and the next day. I'm a believer, and I'm sold on them. So thank you again for watching. I hope you learned a little something. I will put links down below to both these products, both from the manufacturer's websites if you want to read a little more about them, and also on Amazon if you want to buy them from Amazon. The price is the same whether you buy from Amazon or the manufacturer, but you may have one preference on where you get them. So I'll put those links down below. So thank you for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, click that subscribe icon, and we'll talk to you again later. Thank you.